Hello and welcome to the A&P. I am Alex Johansson and my co-host Patrick McCallum. Patrick,
Hello, everyone. How are you getting on?
we're having logical discussions about the state of the world. Let's get into it, brother. Hey, Patrick.
How are you getting on, buddy?
Well,
Here we go.
I found an Irish lass who's debating with a fella, and she has some interesting opinions, and she seems to want to duck lots of concepts. So I figured you'd want to address this nice Irish lady.
She's pro-Palestinian. I can already guess this is going to turn into a complete another train wreck, isn't it? I can guarantee it. All right.
Well, she's an Irish girl defending Islam, so this should be interesting. We might could learn some things. We could learn.
Oh no, I've met a few people like this, both male and female, in Ireland, who are pro-Palestinian, and they're usually middle class and have the brain span of a button.
An entire button. All right. Well, here we go.
About Israel-Palestine? My views are that it's a war.
Oh, and we'll definitely put a link to SaharTV, the official SaharTV.
Guaranteed. Actually, great channel, actually. Very interesting channel.
Right. Well, he's actually reviewed some of the things like the Oxford debates that we did.
Yeah.
But he did from the angle of, I think one or two of them got kicked out of the debate. And he really went into why that was and what was inappropriate about it. So, yeah, big shout out to Sahar.
Yeah,
Dude's
absolutely.
Awesome. Dude's awesome. Here we go.
Yeah.
War.
Okay.
And that there's no genocide in Gaza.
Okay.
What are your views?
I don't think that we're gonna be able to discuss this, to be honest.
Why not? That's exactly the point of a conversation. You don't have to agree with me, but we can have a civilized conversation.
That's the thing that we continue to bring up. We just want to talk about these things. And I'm not trying to foment my position on you. I don't care what you think. I'm curious why you think it and how you came to the conclusion for the thing that you say. And remember, we talked Natasha Hausdorff and genocide and what the term actually means in international law. So a lot of times we're getting emotional responses to actual treated subjects, right? In international law, genocide is X thing, right? It is what it is. Go ahead.
I think this particular young lady, if she was going into, say, this conversation, and she knew obviously they had to arrange, a time and a place and get all this arranged. I presume she had a couple of days of prep, you could say.
Right.
And I presume she realized who she was going talking to. I presume she looked up his channel and so on. It would have been respectful of her if she came into this conversation in good faith. Then, I'm pro-Palestinian for these reasons. Here's why I believe in this, and so on and so forth.
Well, but it looks like he's trying to draw it out of her. Like, you say you have this position, why do I draw it out of you? You're right. You should say, this is my position, and here's why. Here's what I have that is of evidentiary value to support my thesis, whatever it might be, right? So
yes.
All right, let's see if she actually does some response here. That would be good.
I agree. I would have agreed with that in the past. However, upon speaking to many Israelis, I'm not sure that I can keep having conversations. I don't really feel like they make much of a difference.
Trust me, they do. If they're featured on my platform, they do.
Okay.
I've been doing.
So now he's saying, to her point, if it's on my channel, I have enough people who watch and views that your opinion, should it hold weight, will carry value, right? So he's telling her this has value. So now let's get into the thing. So I've now discounted the first thing that you said in opposition to what I'm saying, which is the voice is too weak, right? Any voice is a good voice, right?
Yes.
If you don't agree with them in the marketplace of ideas, if it turns out that one thing is better than the other, or one is a good thing and the other one is emotional copium, well, then you can sort those things out, right?
Yeah. As I said, she had plenty of time to prep for this interview. A lot of time.
Doing this for 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Okay, since when?
Since, I mean, not exactly 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years, since October 7th, I've been doing this.
Okay, and what's your overall goals? Like, what do you do it for?
I do it for people in the West and people around the world to see the sick ideology of Hamas and the IRGC and Hezbollah, and that their goal is, at the end of the day, to dominate the world. Which sounds drastic, but that's the goal.
Well, and a lot of times they say things like death to America or death to the West and those kinds of things. So it's not a healthy position as far as the West should be concerned, right?
Yes. I think this young lady didn't obviously, like most liberals, and I mean that as a general, I'm specifically shouting out Irish liberals. A lot of Irish liberals do not research anything past the initial headline.
So she didn't read
They
the
don't read-
pamphlet. She didn't read the pamphlet.
They don't.
Okay.
Yeah, or didn't even look into anything about Hamas, probably, or the Palestinian movement, or the Jordanian movement, or any other movements. Israel is bad, Palestine good. That was it. That's their entire argument.
Right, but Palestine is an area that was before 1948 a huge British mandate.
Yeah.
Again, it's a
I've
British
said
mandate.
that. I've said to people, I said, you do realize if Palestine was going to be a country, Egypt could have given their freedom.
Yeah, from
They're going,
1948
Egypt-
to 1967, they could have been given their freedom for sure. Jordan couldn't
Yes,
given up
and-
part of their land and said, here's a place, as opposed to carving out what is, per international recognition, the West Bank and Gaza and all of those places that are now within Israel's space, to include the Golan Heights, which is still contested in some fashion, but generally speaking, including the Golan Heights and all those areas, it's all Israeli territory.
Yes. But when I said, when you bring up any of these points to specific pro-Palestinian movement in Ireland, you're automatically shot down, because then you're automatically disagreeing with them. You're automatically the bad guy, because they don't see past their own BS. It's the best word to describe.
Well, they
it.
don't see past their emotional attachment to it. They want to be right, and in believing that they're right, other points of view can't come in. So it's difficult. All right.
Okay.
Do
To
you
dominate the world.
do you agree with that stance?
I'm not sure I do.
Okay, you're from the UK.
No, I'm from Ireland.
You're from Ireland. Got you.
Mhm.
Do you remember what happened in 7/7 in the UK?
Can you remind me?
There were
I
a series of terror attacks that took place in the UK. Many people died. Same as 9/11. These are wars.
She's actually Googling it right now.
2005 in
Of
July.
course.
Yes.
I was like 5 when that happened, but I
Oh wow.
briefly remember reading about it.
Have you? Okay, I'll ask you for a different stat. Do you know how many terror attacks took place by Muslims all around the world since 9/11?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to
Can you
ask
pause the
you.
video there?
Yeah. Do you know how many?
Now, I'm old enough to remember this story, and it was a big story for many years, even over on our side of the water in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this young lady, okay, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, she was 5 years of age. Now, as I keep saying, she's being very disrespectful to this young man. One, the fact that she didn't bother doing any research on her stance before she came into this interview.
Right.
Like, he's good enough to put her on a pretty reasonably large platform. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To get her message across. Two, in the middle of an interview, he's pounding Diet Coke. You know, if you know what I mean? It's super scatterbrained, very, very disrespectful to the guy who's.
Well, and I
Even
think
if
she's got her
opportunity.
panties on the line in the back there. So, I mean, maybe you could have set your laptop up a little differently. I just seems a little strange.
Now that you point out, I can't unsee it. Okay, I'm just saying. You had to point that out, didn't you?
She has her
You have to.
unmentionables up on the line back there, but just for you. She did that for you. I know she did.
Oh no, trust me. She's like most liberals. If I know, obviously they have her face blurred out, but there's a shot where you can see her face. Oh no, she's just a typical Irish liberal, pounding Diet Coke, trying to lose weight. By the way, Diet Coke doesn't work to lose weight. hate to burst everyone's bubble. It doesn't work. Do you know what works? Water. Try water.
Exercise
Works
works too,
wonders.
I heard. Water
Exercise
and exercise.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exercise
And
like
when you
the
go on-
best dope on the planet.
Yeah, that's why their markers are usually not that long. Sorry.
You're silly. All right.
I
So-
just thinking of
But seriously, the question
one
is,
Cork.
how many Islamic attacks have occurred since 9/11, do you think?
I remember about 40, definitely well into the 40,000, if not more.
Yeah, I would say about 40, 45, but
Yeah.
But that's still a lot. Even if it's 20,000, even if it's 10,000, like that is an insane amount. But let's see what he says it is.
On behalf of Islam.
I genuinely, I'm not too sure that I want to get engaged in this conversation. I don't really feel like we'll have a lot to talk about, and I don't like what you just said by Muslims.
You don't have
So this is a funny one. She said she doesn't like it, right? So
Right.
if you don't like it, then you should want to tout your position even more strongly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that would seem like the best way to do that. Like, I think you're wrong, and because I have emotional investment, I have gone and done the research and found the facts. But
Yes.
I'm deflecting you, and my position is functionally that of my feelings are hurt, right? I have been offended. Therefore, the thing you're saying is untrue, which has zero merit in any kind of debate, right? My feelings hurt, therefore you wrong is not the way this works, right? Anyway, so let's get to the number he's going to give us. What do you got, TheA?
to like it. It's,
That's
it's
like
factual.
generalizing, categorizing
I'm not generalizing, but even if you take 10%,
Muslims in with the extremism.
if you take 10% of the population that's considered to be extreme in Islam, that's 150 million people that are against your views. They want to see you eliminated. So why don't you like my views or opinions?
And then how many terror attacks have taken place?
46,000 since 9/11 in 70 different countries on the name of Islam, on behalf of Islam.
Okay.
How
Can you tell
many-
me some details about them?
How many attacks were committed by Christians on behalf of Christianity or by Jews?
So is your platform are you is this like an anti-Muslim rhetoric you have
Nope.
here?
So I don't like the word rhetoric there, right?
Yeah.
Because I think he's being very well reasoned. This isn't rhetoric. This isn't just saying a thing. He said, factually, there have been 46,000 attacks in the name of Islam in 70 countries. That is that's a factual statement. It's regardless of one's emotional bent, like that's the thing. Like that is a thing that has happened. Okay, and factually, it is true. So,
Or is this to fight? What is this?
This is to bring awareness to the people who are in the West, including Ireland, that Islam is here to prevail and at the end of the day make Sharia law countries, especially in Ireland, especially in the UK. You don't have to like it. It's factual. It's already happening.
in the UK, they have a ton of Sharia enclaves. Do they have that in Ireland as well?
No, we have a massive separation of church and state in Ireland.
Right, but
Since
in the UK, there are shards. There are Sharia
I've
enclaves.
I've seen the headlines coming out of the UK. And then when you research those headlines about the Sharia law, it's like 2-3 streets say, "Oh, we have Sharia law," and the rest of the country's going, and even the local county council's going, "No, you don't." I think it makes good headlines.
Well, right, but the thing is, from what I understand, they have been given some limited governance within their own communities to do these things.
No.
Not true.
No, it's not true.
All right.
No, not standing up for Britain. I'm Irish. I'm just saying some of the headlines
You're Irish?
and some of the news stories were written in such a way to make it look like that. That's why it's always very important, especially this young lady. Always look at all sides of an argument before you jump in with both feet.
Right, and actually look at what the subject
and
matter
by the way,
experts.
the fact that this young lady is doing, I don't know what she's doing at the moment, but she looks like she's scratching something. I don't know.
Silly.
This young lady is a typical middle class quit, as I would call them.
Well, and it
I
looks
can
like
guarantee you, Mammy and Daddy are paying her rent. while she marches up and down Grafton Street, waving
Well,
a
her
open
channel's up
flag.
there. She's OME.TV. Like her channel's up there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she has a platform for sure.
Well, she has a platform. Oh,
Mhm.
oh. But
Yes.
you know, oh no.
Yeah, we'll go find that later. We'll go find out some things. But I like
Yes.
this one for
So
Sahar.
what we
So
do for our audience, we'll go through a bit of this and then we'll pause and then we'll have a look and then we'll come straight back. Just to give them a little bit of a treat.
yeah, we'll get to that next time around. I want to get through this one first though.
Okay.
Okay.
But do you want to tell me your opinion? You seem
makes it
you seem a bit restrained.
Restrained is definitely one word for it. Yes.
So go ahead, tell me. What are you thinking? And what's making you think that?
I don't know. I'm a bit perplexed actually about what you said.
She's gonna open another Diet Coke.
About the...
Getting her upset.
Well, but the thing is so on her platform on OME TV, I'm going to make the assumption that you can see her face because that's part of her brand, right?
Yes.
Right. So if that's part of her brand and her branding, I don't know why she would decide at this point that she doesn't want her face to be seen. And then she's tripping over these easy questions. He's saying, what is the thing that you believe about what I am saying? Like, let's have an actual discussion about this. And she's like holding back. And he was right. Restrained is a good word for it.
Yeah. Like,
you believe...
I don't know what she's crazy. She's, as you said, she's given out about him and his platform.
Right.
But she doesn't seem to want to advertise her platform. Well, she does in the corner, but I'm just saying, wow, this is probably the worst collaboration I've ever seen.
Well, I think he's trying to make a point with it, right? Like, please bring something of evidentiary value. Like, show me the thing that you're telling me has merit, you know? Here we go.
Islam is here to dominate the West, including the UK and Ireland, and it's already happening. This is a major cause of many protests happening in Ireland and across the UK at the minute, and it's mainly like this far-right nationalism.
All right, so the term...
Actually, OME TV, I think, is actually a software program. Actually, yeah, it's a software program, not actually a channel. Just to clarify for people.
Oh, okay. So she's not OME.TV?
No, that's actually software. Yeah, don't worry.
Ah, okay. So it's
like
like Zoom or something. It's like a Zoom call.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And those little streaming software things.
Got
and
it.
Tons of them out there. Oh, wow.
She's killing me, Smalls. She's killing me. All right.
Yes.
Thing that's taking place.
It's actually taking place. It's actually taking place. I'm not just making stuff up. It's actually...
So she was saying far-right nationalism, like, because someone has pride in their country doesn't make them a far-right nationalist, right?
No,
you can have national pride without being some fringe individual, right?
And I think people are spitting on that word at the moment in Ireland. Oh, I'm proud of Ireland. You're far right, and I'm kind of going, no. I'm proud of my country.
When things go sideways or someone has an opinion about things that are, say, going on in the UK, it looks like the PM out there, Keir Starmer, says, well, it's all far-right nationalists. So what you're saying is that 40 million people in your country are far-right nationalists? If that's actually the case, then that's...
We have the same here as well. It's exactly the same with our Taoiseach and Taoiseach at the moment. Anyone who disagrees with anything that's going on in our country are just being labelled as far-right.
But you don't have two-tier Keir, so, right?
Yeah, Keir Starmer, I think, the problem with Keir Starmer, I think he inherited a lot of problems that were going on for the last couple of decades from the Tory side as well. So it's very unfair to put it just on him. I think it's been a British problem for a long time.
Right, but wasn't he in charge of the law enforcement arm of that country for years and years and years while the previous party was in play?
Well, the law enforcement arm was there with the Tories, and look how well they handled the whole immigration.
Oh, they did bad.
Even when Boris Johnson was a prime minister, look how many millions,
right,
hundreds of thousands came in. You know what I mean?
Crazy. All right.
Yeah.
Actually taking place.
No, I've heard of people that think this way, and
who? Tommy Robinson?
Yeah, and the likes. Yeah.
Is he wrong?
If your basis of your arguments are going to be on whether Tommy Robinson is wrong or right, I really do not know if we can have a discussion, and I'm being quite clear on that one.
But I don't. What is she being
She's
quite
actually
clear on?
Well, what do you know what she's doing right now?
Probably Googling Tommy.
Yes, she's Googling him right now.
Right, because he's the one that was speaking out about the rape gangs and all that stuff going on in.
Yeah. I remember him on about that.
Right, but he did screw up because he was on in a place where he shouldn't have been on. Like he was doing some things that were outside the judiciary that he shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, and he got in a bit of trouble because I have to send you on the news article. He went on about this rape gang for a while in the specific area, and it turned out that the young girl that was making it was spearheading this rape gang, the victim.
Oh no!
She actually got prosecuted afterwards.
Oh my god!
Over 3 years to find out that she was actually lying through her teeth.
Right.
And it just blackened all the whole. It poisoned the well.
Poisoned the well, yeah. There's a lot of bad things going on, but there was a bad actor in the middle of it that gave Tommy Robinson bad information.
In the middle of it was a young lady who was telling a lot of lies, who should have been prosecuted more, in my own personal opinion. And she destroyed a dozen men's lives. Like she was saying, these men, it was the police who actually investigated in the end. I've seen you on the Channel 4 did a great documentary on her, two-part documentary on her.
Nice.
It took 3 years, all this was going on, and Tony Robinson, kind of halfway through it, knew she wasn't factual, but he still kind of played along with it. A lot of them, yeah, and it was a whole mess, very, very messy. But there was other gangs that were doing it, but Tony Robinson, this particular time, he got it wrong. But as I say, just look up Channel 4, and it's all there on their website, as they say.
Got it.
I don't know if I want to engage with that. I don't think it's even worth engaging with. If you think that Tommy Robinson has some credible arguments,
he does. I've read the Quran the same way he did. He does. He has some credible arguments. You have not read the Quran, I'm assuming.
I know that what way you read the Quran, what way you read the Bible is all down to interpretation.
Okay, so
really?
in the Bible, there's some verses specifically talking about killing goyim, but do you see any Jews around the world killing non-Jews on behalf of Judaism? No, you don't. Do you see Christians? No, you don't. Do you see Muslims? Yes, you do. Even if it's the minority, and it's not the majority because the majority are peaceful, it's still a problem that needs to be talked about.
Actually, you do see Christians killing other Christians. It happens in my country.
Okay, can you give me how many incidents happened? And I want to know.
There was a 30-year war between Catholics and Protestants in the north of Ireland.
Okay.
And they're both branches of Christianity.
And that happened how long ago?
It happened from 1969, 1970, and the Good Friday Agreement was signed in 1999. And still today, that there is still a divide.
A divide between Christian...
Between Protestants and between Catholics, yeah.
Got you. Do you see them going to people that are not following their faith, like Jews or Muslims, and trying to force them to convert? Like in modern times, I'm talking about.
Not convert, but I mean, if a Protestant or a Catholic moves into the wrong area, they will most certainly get put out of that area, depending on how strong the area feels about it. Certainly there is some areas that feel very strongly about who they want to live there, and if they don't want Catholics living there, they won't live there. If they don't want Protestants living there, that's just the way it is. So I mean, that does happen, like, and that's between two.
Right. So saying one group is wrong justifies ill
Well,
behavior?
well, by the way, what she's on about there is the troubles we had in Northern Ireland. She's on about specifically Northern Ireland. She's on about Shankill,
Right.
the Falls Road, and Londonderry, and so on. She's on about those specific areas.
Derry and Londonderry,
Now,
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, technically, is she right? Yes.
Well, she's correct in that there's an issue there, but there's not Catholics and Protestants rolling out attempting to convert, and then when you won't convert, then killing you. They're just saying, you are already a thing I don't want here.
Yes, technically what she's saying is right. That does happen in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
In that specific section of Ireland, up in Northern Ireland.
Right.
But it's calmed down since, there's still always going to be flashpoints, there's always going to be trouble up there. But they're both branches of Christianity. But what he's saying is also right. They're not going out of their way, dragging a guy, a Protestant off the street and say, you better be Catholic or we'll chop your head off. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't think she understands the difference. I think this is where she's going to get lost. Because I know he's going to try to explain it to her.
She's not going to like it.
She's still going to try to.
Yeah.
She's not going to like it.
Yes,
we've had our own bloody history.
That are relatively similar.
Okay. As a person that lives in Ireland, do you think that, like, would you want to live under a Sharia law country, in a Sharia law country, if it would have taken place in Ireland?
What does Sharia law entail?
Islam.
So she hasn't read the Quran. She doesn't know what Sharia law entails. So she's defending a group of people who want a set of laws that are absolutely not equitable to women. Right? She's espousing a thing that she should probably not want, right? Because she's not wearing a burqa, she isn't appropriately covered, she's being super disrespectful to a man. Like, these are not things that they would espouse at all.
No.
Islamic law.
No.
I want to know what that means.
Islamic law, meaning women's rights are oppressed, gay rights are oppressed, gay people are oppressed, and at some points even.
Yeah, they're not just oppressed, they're killed, right?
Yes.
So people die if they're gay, LGBTQ+ in Sharia law countries. It happens in Gaza, it happens in the West Bank, it happens in Iran. If you don't remove your head covering, you are fine. But if you do, you can get arrested by the discipline police in Iran, which is a Sharia law country, the closest to Sharia law country. So I'm asking you, as a woman that seems like she likes to be free, you look like a person that wants to be free. Would you like to live under a Sharia law country? Because
yeah, I don't think she would.
No, she wouldn't. Like, if she was wearing what she's wearing right now in some of these countries, I think she'd find out real quick what it's like to live under Sharia law. Just saying.
Absolutely brutal. All right, so let us push forward to there. All right, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I think, to be honest, I think that Muslims are an easy target for people to vent frustrations on, because their culture is very different from ours, when it comes to gay marriage, things like this. But to be honest, this gay thing is brought up quite a lot, but gay marriage just became legal in the north of Ireland in 2019. In the States in 2013. It's a relatively new thing that's been accepted. And has it even been accepted? Let's be real. So this argument, gays are gay people that are homosexual, they still, a lot of them won't hold hands in the street, in the West. So,
well, that doesn't justify Islamic countries under Sharia law killing them, right? I don't think.
Yes.
So is she saying because a couple gay fellers won't hold hands in Dublin or Belfast, it's okay for Sharia to kill them per the Quran?
Like, I think she's definitely from a small town somewhere in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
In the major cities in Ireland, no one cares. It's probably the best way to put it. No one really ever cared, if you know what I mean. Well, they did. Yes.
the Catholic Church certainly had an opinion. Certainly.
Yeah, by the way, she definitely has her facts about her own country a bit wrong. From a person where she lives in the same country.
Right.
One, up to 1993, it was illegal to be gay in Ireland, in the
Mhm.
Republic of Ireland. She keeps mentioning it becoming legal in Northern Ireland. No, it was made legal to get married in 2019 in the Republic of Ireland.
Mhm.
Northern Ireland had it before we did because they're part of the UK.
Right.
Like, I understand where she's coming from. She doesn't understand that in 1993 we got rid of those laws.
Right.
But before 1993, we didn't shoot people in the street or throw them off buildings if they were gay. I think she doesn't quite understand the difference. Yes,
Right.
you could be jailed under numerous anti-gay laws in Ireland before 1993. But those laws we got rid of, and most people, really from mid-80s upwards to 1993, weren't really prosecuted as such. We were moving away from it.
Right.
But we still, before that, in Ireland, I'm just talking about Ireland, I know what happened in the UK gay people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I understand.
Right.
That was horrific what happened in the UK. But I'm just talking about Ireland, the republic that she's from. And she's a bit confused. I think she's from Northern Ireland, by the way she's talking all the time about Northern Ireland.
Right.
But, yeah. But she's misunderstanding the point he's trying to make, I think.
Right. One is Christianity, and because of modernity, it has become more relaxed in those kinds of aspects as far as Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and all those things that say the bad things about people who are gay, right?
Yes.
But those who are adhering to the Quran and the Hadith are actually killing people who are gay. Like if you are gay, they will kill you or re-educate you or try and get the gay out of you, but they will kill you.
Yeah. That's what he's trying to say. In this modern era that we live in, they're still continuing this barbaric practice.
Right.
Where we have moved on in the West in the last couple of 100 years, or even more so in the last couple of decades.
Right. All right, here we go.
Do you believe in liberty for women?
You only feel safe in a big city, but certainly not in small villages or something like that. I know that from people that I've spoke to.
So she has anecdotal evidence which doesn't really purport any kind of aspect of reality. She knows a couple people who said a thing.
And by the way, she is right. She is right. Funny enough, I'm actually agreeing with her when it comes to small towns and villages in Ireland. This day, they're still not very happy with gay people. Probably the nicest way I can put it. She is right. I know it's strange that I'm actually agreeing with her, but I live in the country as well as she does, and she is right about small towns and villages. They're very they don't mind the gay people as long as they're over there
in the city,
far away,
in the big city. You go be gay in the big city. Don't bring it out here to the country. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if this argument is fully.
Do you believe in equal rights for women?
Is this going to be like a tit for tat thing? Okay, I understand.
Do you believe in equal rights for women? It's still a very simple question. I do.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so why? So
are you going to use that against me to describe why?
No.
Why?
So that's an interesting. Are you going to use that against me, as opposed to are you going to use that to develop an argument? To make a fair point, to develop an argument against the thing that I am purporting as reality or my position, right? So when someone says your position is incorrect and here's why, they're not saying you are wrong. They're saying perhaps you're perceiving this incorrectly. Maybe there's a way I can help you with this, right? In an honest conversation between people, right?
Yes.
So the way she's phrasing it is, are you going to attack me personally because I say I believe a thing, right? She can't separate herself from her concept. So
no, she can't.
Muslims shouldn't breed or should be sent back to their countries.
No. In a Sharia law country, your testimony is worth half of that of a man. Your testimony is worth half. Also, in marriage and divorce, a man can divorce you like this, but you cannot divorce him. It's the man's choice. Child marriage is permitted in some interpretations based on Prophet Muhammad. Inheritance. Daughters typically inherit half the share of sons. Daughters don't get the same as sons. Dress code. Women are often legally obligated to follow strict dress codes and punished for not complying. Is this something you'd want to live under? And please don't escape away from the question, because I don't want you to live under something
She's gonna duck, bro. Here it comes.
Yes, she is.
like this.
I mean, if you're acting to me right now like what you're doing, bringing awareness is for on behalf of women and children, and instead of some bigoted hate, then I think that as I said from the start, I don't think that we have a lot to talk about.
I think you're escaping my question.
So you specifically set it up where you said, hey, please answer the question. And then she immediately went to, I don't think we have much to talk about.
Yeah, she's you can see that she's beginning to shut down.
Oh, she's super
Isolate herself.
antsy.
Yeah.
Super antsy, too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to
And
answer. You don't want to.
do you know what? The funny thing is, it is a shame. But she had a perfect opportunity to come in here with all her ducks in a row, saying, this is why I believe that, rightly or wrongly.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
probably
they could have, in good faith, had a discussion about it. Right.
Yeah. As he says up there, the debate zone is. I don't understand what her thinking was going into this. Or
so do you think that she's unclear on what the term debate means? Maybe that's what
I think personally she went into this full of righteous rubbish that she's
indignation.
picked up.
Righteous indignation. Yeah.
Yeah, picked up off the street from her different little protests that they march up and down on. And that's about it. As deep as her knowledge goes on the whole subject.
I bet she's actually part of the People Before Profit. Well, unless she's in Northern Ireland, then she wouldn't be People Before
She's
Profit.
Yeah, she sounds the way she's talking, I say she's Northern Ireland. No, from Northern Ireland.
You think she's Ballymena?
And, I don't know where she's from in Northern Ireland, but God bless her anyway.
Here we go.
You're bad. You want to look bad. You don't want to look discriminatory. But it's a very simple answer. Because I know you don't. I know you don't want to get your rights taken away. I know you don't want your testimony to be half as one of a man. You're just escaping it. It's kind of sad.
Already, okay, but you don't know what it's like to be a woman in the West right now. Anyway, you don't. It's like you.
But he does know that you don't want to be half as important as a fella, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what her point there is. You don't know what it's like to be a woman in the West. We're not bad women in the West. Well, okay, there's some countries in the West that could be better than others, but overall, we're not going to, stone you to death.
Well, as far as I'm aware, in G7 and Western countries, men and women have the vote. You're both represented. You get paid roughly the same for jobs that you do if it is the same job, right?
Yes.
So she would be giving up an awful lot if she were to if you are so pro-Palestine, I don't know why you wouldn't move to Gaza or the West Bank. Right?
I said that to a young man one day. Yeah. I don't think he's going to say.
Yep.
And I see this rhetoric used a lot. We're protecting women and children against immigrants. And it's funny because when a white man or a man that's lived in the community, and he does something towards women, the community goes silent. And what you said, these prejudices against women, they exist regardless of whether Sharia law is here or not. They're very much ingrained into society already. Into Western society, into every single, through marriage, through what you say. I mean, how many women across the world own land compared?
So lots and lots and lots of women in the Western sphere own land, right? And in fact, she's misrepresenting it because functionally in Western countries, women have 100% control of all reproductive rights. 100% control, and they cannot be enjoined to join military service against their will. There's no version of the draft or selective service that will take women, right? So she's specifically misrepresenting it. It is not bad for women. They have a de facto control of reproduction, right? And legally as well as physically. At any point, they can be in a relationship with a fella and just leave with no fault in this country anyway, and the UK as well. And if they bring charges up against the man, then the man is separated from the child. Like, so they have more power in the West than men do, functionally. So if she's representing this as women are just crapped on all the time and treated like absolute shit, that's not the case. It's just not.
I think, as I said, she's coming from a very narrow point of view. And I understand she's what? She was 5 in 2005, so she's 25 now. She's a 25-year-old living in the West. Obviously, Mummy and Daddy are definitely looking after her. I would nearly put money in it. I guarantee I could nearly put money in it. She's guaranteed she's probably still in college doing some form of master or doctorate, you know, on, I don't know, gender studies or whatever the hell she's doing. I know I'm generalizing her, but I've met a lot of people like her in the pro-Palestinian movement, and most of them you can probably, one, they're, as I call them, forever students, or two, they're on the dole trying to find themselves for about 2 decades, or three, they're just complete and utter space cadets. You know, this Irish liberals are usually summed up in those kind of categories.
But
She's definitely one of them.
I think she's making statements that are in error, like specifically in error. She hasn't, not only has she not researched the Quran or Palestine or what it functioned like or what it is, she's also misrepresenting females in Western culture. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Quit. She's a complete and utter quit.
She's killing me. All right, we're gonna push forward. Here we go.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna pause this conversation right here. I'm gonna say this, okay? You don't look like you're in the right mindset to have a conversation, and I respect it. So I'm gonna say
the right mindset. I mean, I
don't know. You look. I'm gonna be honest. You look heartbroken. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. Like, you look heartbroken. And that's all. That's what I'm sensing from the screen.
Super agitated.
I'm heartbroken for the Palestinians, actually.
Are you heartbroken
and
for
the
Israelis?
No.
You're not heartbroken for the hospital that was just hit in Beersheba from a ballistic missile?
There's no remaining hospital in Gaza.
There's what?
There's not one remaining hospital.
There's 4 active hospitals in Gaza at the moment.
Wow. So she's wrong.
Yeah.
Again. Right. Yeah. She has bad information and she's using them like building blocks to build a broken house. It's not going well.
Yeah. No, it's not. I don't know.
But they just hit a hospital in Beersheba, the IRGC, with a ballistic missile with patients.
No.
Do you have anything against this?
Okay, but who struck Iran first?
Iran struck Israel on October 8th and 7th through Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, proxies of Iran.
That is a factual statement right there. Like, yeah. It's understood. So for Hamas and the Houthis and all these other organizations that work functionally for Iran, like, then Iran did in fact, through proxies, attack Israel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I'm not heartbroken. I appreciate that you care for my whatever, but...
So she's casually anti-Semitic, just casually anti-Semitic.
Casually, yeah. You can see the
just a ballistic missile.
Yeah, that's the entire vein of the whole pro-Palestinian movement in Ireland. That's the call of what it is. A lot of it has that undertone of anti-Semitism.
Well, and we covered the Oxford videos, 4 or 5 of them, I believe. You guys can go back and check those out. And like, it seems like there's this theme that anything done against Israel since they've been othered so badly is acceptable behavior, right?
Yes.
And it is disgusting what happened on the 7th and on the 8th as well. And there were people in the streets in Western countries that were cheering it on.
Yes, and one thing I will say is, one thing this young lady, obviously, she's definitely not a student of history, is this conflict is a very old conflict. As I say, and also the war that's going on, there's no saints or sinners on either side. Or both. I don't think she quite understands how war works either. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
War
she's
is
so far away from it. People are dying horribly by ballistic missiles and getting shot in the back by their own people, or they're losing places to live because Hamas won't get out of places and the IDF says get out. And like, yeah, you're right. No saints, no sinners.
And don't get me wrong. Israel sometimes makes mistakes as well.
Oh, for sure.
What happens in war on both sides. And I don't think she quite understands that both sides are equally capable of doing violent acts.
The ratio of civilian versus military age men and fighters, as far as death tolls go, their percentage is better than has ever been in any war prior to this one.
Yeah, and as we said during the Oxford debates, is we're not going to dispute numbers on both sides. It's a war,
right?
It's a war in the story. It's a war,
right. And you can't start a war. You can't start a war and then start losing and say, hey, like, we don't like this anymore. Right. It's like if somebody punches you in the face and you start, slugging back, like you can't be like, okay, you have to stop because I don't like fighting anymore. You started it, bro. Like, what are you going to do?
And eventually, as I always said, there is eventually going to be some sort of ceasefire. That's the way these things normally go. It's going to be ceasefire. And this young lady will move on with her life and it'll probably be off the headlines by this time next year. But this young lady doesn't understand that.
Well, she's emotionally invested.
What she's putting out there is there for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't care.
I've had so many conversations, and I really, really feel like there's very little hope for the Palestinians after speaking to people that hold these type of views, and it does break my heart actually. And I can only pray and hope that something does change, although I don't really feel like it will, but I hope that it will.
You know what could really change the future of the Palestinians? One thing.
What?
Just drop your weapons. Stop attacking Jews. Very simple. They've been attacking Jews since before 1948.
What do you think should happen to Gaza?
To Gaza, I think people should stop fighting with Israel. I think Hamas should be dismantled, the hostages should be released, and the war is over like this. That's what we've been saying since the beginning.
Okay, so,
Why does that sound so reasonable? Stop shooting at people, give us the people you stole, and put down your guns.
It's pretty reasonable. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
But
I don't see Hamas doing that. They eventually will. I don't see doing. Do I see them doing it in the short term? No. Will they eventually have to? Yes.
Yes.
I know it's an unpopular opinion in Ireland, but eventually the war will come to an end. And both sides, like any peace treaty, are not going to be happy with it. That's just the nature of it.
It's going to be a bunch of compromises nobody wants to make, but they have to keep some peace out there. Yeah.
Yes. Will the Palestinians get their own country at the end of the day? Eventually, probably will. Eventually, they have to realize that sometimes, like ourselves, you have to go to a negotiation table and make some sort of a deal. Now, will it take a lot of help to rebuild that entire region? Yes. But it can only happen if Hamas is not there. There's a proper civilian government put into place.
Right.
Which hopefully will happen. Or not just...
Right. Well, and then there's a bunch
for the Palestinians.
But for everybody, yeah.
This is not just... It's for everybody's benefit.
Right. Well,
for Israel's benefit, it's all the entire region's benefit. And by the way...
Go ahead.
And Jordan's the same.
Right.
They will eventually, and a lot of countries in the Middle East will eventually have to realize, just stop doing your ancient rubbish. It doesn't work anymore, not in this modern age.
Well, and the other thing is they need to get UNRWA out of Gaza. Like, UNRWA's got to go. Like, it is so corrupt. It's so bad. And we went over that too.
I think the problem with UNRWA is, like most NGOs, is they throw a bunch of money at a problem, but not monitor what they're doing with that money.
Right. It's thrown to the wolves, and then they just do whatever they want to do with it. And you end up with the school system they had there that was so anti-Semitic. It's insane.
Like, UNRWA is a great idea on paper, like most great ideas. It looks great on paper. But the oversight on it was completely non-existent. Like
Well,
you can't monitor a project if you're halfway across the world.
So
Like
the bigger
UNRWA,
thing, the bigger thing with
problem with
UNRWA, well, the bigger thing with UNRWA is that every other refugee set in the world, what's like they're the refugee, not their children. So for
Yes.
UNRWA, the Palestinian refugee status has been given to all offspring. So there was
Yes.
X amount of refugees back in the day, and now there are millions of them. There weren't millions of them before. It's never taken more than 4 or 5 years to resettle refugees. But this is a money grab. It's bad.
Yes, it is. Like most NGOs, it's all about money and power. The problem is, UNRWA is managed halfway across the world from the people they're supposed to be managing.
Yep.
So there's a massive disconnect straight away. If you're going to manage a project the size of UNRWA, you have to have people there monitoring where and what the money is being spent on.
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't be down to journalists to do your investigation for you. It shouldn't be down to other people.
Yeah, you should be able to audit your NGO and make sure that they're acting right. But the bad actors got involved, and now there's a lot of money, and they can do what the hell they want to do. All right, we got a couple of minutes left of this one.
Yeah.
There's this saying, and it's bodies fall, but ideas endure. Okay, I think that
Ideas injure. That's another weird one where concepts can hurt me because I don't want to deal with them. So I just say they hurt me, I'm offended, and it's done. So that's not acceptable behavior from grown folks having a conversation.
the problem, why terrorism, how it comes about is always in response, and it's in response to the occupation. You know, if there was no Israel, there'd be no Hamas.
That's not true. That is absolutely an incorrect statement.
No, I think what she's talking about is what happened in Ireland at Irish terrorism. Yes, we were occupied fully by the British Empire.
Right.
I think I understand.
She's conflating the issue.
Yeah, I understand our ancient history with the Palestinian region, with Ireland and Palestine. But she doesn't quite understand why we have that connection. We have that connection because of what happened on both sides during the 19th. Like, I understand where she's coming from, but she doesn't quite understand the history of why there is a connection between Palestine and Ireland. I don't think she quite understands the march that she's doing.
Right.
Like, she doesn't understand when the British controlled that region, it was with the same brutality at the same time as us. Like a lot of the black and tans that we talk about, the black and tans, after we eventually kicked the British out, those troops and black and tans were moved over to that region of the world and brutalized those people. That is our ancient connection there with the Palestinian region. But then what happens afterwards, from the decades afterwards, is a different part of history as well. You should probably read a history book, maybe.
It would help. All right, Here we go.
Occupation.
The Israeli occupation.
Israel has not been in Gaza since 2005. Not a single troop. There's a border between Israel and Gaza, just like there's a border between Gaza and Egypt. Why did it not attack Egypt? Stronger blockade between Egypt and Gaza. Why did it not attack Egypt?
Okay. This is also why I didn't know if I wanted that conversation, because I don't want it to go into whataboutism, which I feel like...
I don't feel like you know. That's the problem. I just don't feel like you know.
It's not that I don't know. It's that I'm not sure that I want to engage. It's not that I don't know. In fact, I do know. Like, I'm currently doing my PhD in international law. I've written...
All this.
Bro, you nailed it.
All this.
Nailed
I knew it. I knew it. I told you.
But the thing is, if she is getting a doctorate, she said a PhD, a doctorate in international law, then she knows what the Holocaust is. She knows what genocide means specifically, right? All she'd have to do is watch Natasha Hausdorff or the A&P gents covering Natasha Hausdorff at the Oxford debates.
But what I'm saying is, our Irish liberals all come in the same brand of BS. they're all middle class quits. Oof. Like she's doing like I called it. She's a forever student. I guarantee you.
Well, no,
She's
but
going
the
to be
thing is,
she's going to be doing this doctorate in international law till mummy and daddy kick the bucket when she's 40 odd years of age.
but the thing is she's
and
saying
then just coast through life.
Right, but she's saying she knows things that she cannot know. Or
No.
if she knows them, she's not saying, here's the thing, right? Like, I would expect a PhD student to be way more well-spoken than this.
I did,
right?
I did as a module. I did 2 years as a module, a selected module, when I was in college.
Right.
And she is doing it as a doctorate. I know more probably about international law still than she does right now.
Well, she's not representing her body of knowledge very well at all.
The only doctorate she's doing it for is what the one that mummy and daddy paid for.
It's got to be.
Guarantees.
Right, but then that's anecdotal as well. It appears that that is the case because she's not as well spoken as she should be. She's holding views that don't seem to purport with reality.
Does she sound like a proper doctoral student to you?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. All right, we don't got a lot left of this one, so let's let her finish out.
For Palestinian rights for the past 4 years. So you're telling me that I don't know, when in fact I know that I do know.
Okay.
I just don't know if I want to choose to engage based off how this conversation went.
So he's absolutely correct. So the Philadelphia corridor and that space on the southern end of Gaza into Egypt, right? They did not attack into the Sinai Peninsula. They did not attack into Egypt at all. They didn't, right? Which means that it wasn't a border issue. It was an anti-Jewish issue. Right? It's anti-Israel, not I want my borders to be expanded and be left alone, right? It's not a territorial grab. It was none of that. It is we're going to go kill Jews. And that's and do other horrible things to Jews because they're Jews, right?
Yes. But as I said, this young lady doesn't quite understand the nuance of history that she's trying to defend.
And she's saying she knows things. I'm like, well, then tell me what you know. Just don't tell me that you know. Tell me the thing that you know. Here we go.
She's a doctoral student.
That you think Tommy Robinson, for example, has some credible points.
He does.
Based on your trying to corner me into trying to tell me that Muslims and all of this are like these evil people that want to take over the world.
I'm not saying Muslims are evil people. I'm saying Islam is a sick ideology, and the people that choose to follow Islam to the letter could put serious threat on you and your family and me and my family. And I choose to speak about this because if Islam criticizes me and my people, I'm allowed to do the same. You don't have to agree. That's fine.
I don't agree.
That's the point of a conversation.
My family or myself are going to be in any harm.
I see.
Ever.
Okay.
Like, it's just, that's what I think. But listen, it was good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
I hope that you stay safe.
You as well. When Islam comes to you, stay safe as well.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
That was very strange.
Yeah, that was very strange in there.
Yeah, she just dipped on the end of that one. So
yeah, but I did call it.
You did.
I told you she was a college student.
Wow. Yeah. Oof. Good.
I know
good.
Irish liberals. That went over them.
All right, everybody. We have been the A&P Gents. For Patrick McCallum, I am Alex Johansson. This has been the A&P Gents. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do the thing, and we will talk to you in the next one.